All right, I think that we are live. Welcome to part 4 of our Elm Phoenix Pomodoro app. Yesterday, we did a lot of stuff that hopefully has us set up to be able to actually send some messages back and forth. And so I think that's kind of what we want to do. I was thinking maybe our start timer obviously needs to send something out here to Phoenix. So that is, I think, our next kind of deal that we need to work on. Unless you've got a better thought, Aaron.
No, I'm good. So we are joining. That's kind of where we left off last, right? Like we are joining the room and we're getting these little heartbeats, Pomodoro something. So we need to send. You're right. Send the start timer so that we can start looping in the Phoenix process, basically.
Yep, exactly.
Should we commit this stuff? Is that something that you would like to do at the moment to kind of clear this out?
Sure.
Or is it not useful yet? Like you think it's going to change?
We can go ahead. I mean, we can end up squashing if we don't feel like this is a good point. So
cool. Great. So we have let's see here. That's the vendor stuff that we still haven't figured out just yet. I say we'll do it later.
Okay.
Let's just move along.
All right. So we need to look at the documentation to find out how we push this.
There's the name of this package, Elm Phoenix socket something.
Elm Phoenix socket. So add the following to Phoenix message. Add a Phoenix message to your message type.
Here is a example in it's send message, and it uses the socket push in the example repo.
Cool.
I suppose you could have probably looked at those docs too, but
I was how close was I? I was on Phoenix push. Just getting there. Yeah, so we're gonna have the payload. JE payload. Let's maybe just copy this in and start playing with it.
Looks like it has a push init with the, I guess, is that the message you want to send? And then the lobby, the particular room channel?
I wish there was a way to auto indent everything. And I'm assuming that there is. Wish I knew about whatever that is. Yeah, should be at that level. And then the in moves over. Should be something like that. Okay, so there's model. New message is empty. And Phoenix socket is equal to Phoenix socket. So new message isn't a part of our model. So it would seem like we would want this part. We'll keep with their lines. Phoenix socket is something that we have, and we want to end in a command. So can get rid of that. These JSON objects, they're saying JE. I don't think as JE. Let's find this in code and change this to JE. Okay, Phoenix push isn't a thing.
It's that commented line.
Oh, thank you.
Also, space CL stands for comment line. So
kind of works across different languages and stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So start timer. The second and third branches of this case produce different types of values. The second branch has something with a new message. Which is right. Model.new message payload.
So here's a question about synchronizing clients. So I know the message that we want to send is like the start timer was clicked, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do we want to set like the state on this thing, or do we want to get a response from Phoenix saying, yes, here is your new state? Like, who do we want the guy? I mean, because right here we're merging, you know, state is started. Or do we just send the message like, hey, I want to start this thing, and then Phoenix says, okay.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be the last thing that we're telling Phoenix that we want to start it. So I guess that means our state shouldn't change until we hear back from Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Unless, well, there is a result of, is this actually doing the thing? I'm assuming that push, okay, push just ends with a command. Right.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of like fire and forget, and then you have to wait for some other message to be received.
Cool. So our actual payload itself, we don't necessarily care about. We think maybe this could, I don't know if it needs to be an empty, it needs to have it or not, but as far as we're concerned, it could be totally just a empty string.
Oh, I see, because the message itself is the thing that says started, right? So where it says new message, that'll say like state started or something, right? Like, or like
start timer.
Yeah.
Maybe. So this is going to be Pomodoro something. So yeah, there's Phoenix push with payload. I wonder if
we don't even need that, and then we don't need the payload.
I'm sure that there is like a do it kind of thing, right? There's an init. I wonder if there is a push that is not with payload.
Well, the push doesn't actually happen until the next line.
Oh.
So this right here is just setting up
a
push like thing.
Yeah, and this doesn't even necessarily set up, or this doesn't even make it happen, right? It just returns to us what our new socket and the command is that's going to be run.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
okay.
I think you're right.
So we don't want that to happen. We just want our new socket to be assigned and our new command coming in. So I'm assuming that we're going to end up hitting Phoenix message at some point here. Right, so we don't need that.
That needs to be a bracket, right? Or a pipe.
Yep, totally. Okay, so that compiles. So I wonder if this should be like request start timer, maybe, and then we should have a start timer somehow inside of our message coming back. I don't know. Maybe once we get the response back, then we can start on that. Okay, so
I'm clicking the button and it's sending messages, although I'm just getting like the act of it, so I don't know if it's. I mean, obviously we're not handling it, so it's probably.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over to the Phoenix side. And yeah, space PF. Awesome. I'm gonna start writing some tests. Test channels, Pomodoro channel test. And we should totally run our tests here at some point. But we don't especially care about user part, reply ping, broadcast. Okay, so let's test so this is start timer replies with status. Okay, I think would be fine for right now. So apparently we get our socket object from our setup up there. So socket and right. So we'll totally should have done this at the beginning. But push socket start timer. Start timer. Assumably that is going to be blank. And we're going to reply, okay.
So is that empty? Are those maps? Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the empty one is essentially like the empty payload.
That's what I'm guessing at what without payload would do for us.
Got it.
So
it looks like we probably need to change Pomodoro lobby to Pomodoro something.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, I don't know what that socket user ID business is.
I think that it ignores it right now.
Okay.
Let's or I can't do that. Space project find web channels Pomodoro channel. Yeah, so that is the payload, and so it is handing the payload to authorized, and authorized doesn't do anything with it. So it's
no opping.
Yeah, it's always authorized at this point. I am really bimming hard right now. Cool. So I would like to be able to run this test.
Yeah. So if we hit comma, it's gonna show like all of our stuff for this, and there's a T there for test. And I'm assuming we can just say A for Alchemist mixed test. And I guess it's doing things.
Yeah, we haven't run tests yet, so it's got to compile against the test environment. Okay. So just the first time will be a little slow, and then after that we should be good. No function clause matching join 3. That's interesting. Is there a way to like have this thing have the test run like not in this like small across the bottom or something instead of split it over to the side? Do you know?
I'm sure there's a way to configure that. It's probably going to be fiddly.
Okay.
I'm not best at figuring that out.
I wonder if this is a thing.
That's a different.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be a thing. Okay, so I'm gonna start splitting some things up so that we can see what's up. So space F, nope, space PF, project find, and I want to channel Pomodoro channel. All right, so it is telling me no function clause matching in Pomodoro channel join 3. So there is a join 3. Let's see, the 3 that we used, you can see from like the third line of that exit is Pomodoro something, and I spelled Pomodoro wrong, is what has happened. Pomodoro. Comma TA.
TA for everything.
Cool. So now we just have that one, and that one's dying because we changed what the homepage looks like. So let's test controllers page controller. Space project find test controllers page controller test. So welcome to Phoenix is not on our page anymore. What do we have? Have basically get started is still there. So for right now, I'm just gonna get started. It's not the best in the world, and maybe it should be just deleted, but that kicks the can. All right, so apparently we are getting this response okay thing going on with start timer, which seems weird. Oh no, we did. Did I write that code just now, or had we already?
No, I think we just changed it from ping. I think it was ping before.
Okay.
So we changed it to start timer.
Cool. So we echo back whatever payload we have, which is a good behavior for ping. Maybe not the best for us. So let's do that, and then maybe our payload instead should say something like state or status started, something like that. And so this is going to be push start timer. Yeah, so we're looking for a status started. And this might actually be string keys. Let's see. All right, so comma test all. Okay, sweet. All right, so we can go back to the Elm side and try and figure out. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, sometimes you can hit Q.
So space project find web
Also, if you have buffers open already that you've been bouncing between, space tab will go between two different buffers back and forth, cycle between the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And space PB instead of F will basically fuzzy find all your current buffers that you have open.
Okay. So we're assuming that we're going to get a Phoenix message about this, right?
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. Is that so? When you do a reply, or like I guess the response, is that what comes in from? So in my mind, a WebSocket was always like, you fire it and you don't get a response, right? But it seems like Phoenix has this notion of sending back a reply of like okay or whatever. So it kind of feels like it builds that in.
That's my understanding is that's a standard WebSocket thing, is that it can be a cast or it can be a call, right?
Oh, okay.
That it can be something that is request response
oriented.
So yeah, I'm assuming right now, like if we go out and hit the button, that nothing happens. I should take a look at I
got a response
logs.
Status started.
Sweet. On something, response status started. Yeah, cool. So, oh yeah, maybe I wonder, because when we initialize our channel, we have an on tick, do tick. I wonder if we need an on status started or on whatever this message is, basically. Start timer.
Yeah.
And then we can do our, I'm going to call this start timer, and then the other one is going to be request start timer. Start timer. Request start timer. How do I clear what I'm searching for?
Space SC, space search clear.
Space SC. Cool. Okay, so we have a request start timer that needs to go here. Request start timer. So yeah, now we need our start timer deal here. Start timer. Nope. And it's basically going to be like this line, but we are started. Is that what our state was?
Yeah.
All right. So I just heard the bell, but I don't see here.
Space EN will take you to the next.
Gotcha.
Next error.
The third argument to on is causing a mismatch. JE value message. Okay, so we should be able to say start timer should take a JE value. Start timer.
Status.
Sure. Cool. Yeah, so that does not work. So yeah, we need to figure out how Oh, on OK. There you go. That looks like what we need. So there's something Phoenix channel on OK, like this. Value message, push message. So on OK, and then just the thing. So actually, it's probably not here, right? It is on our socket that we created here.
Now that's the push.
Yeah, so on OK of our start timer, we want to send the message start timer.
Oh.
Does not expose on OK. Am I in the wrong thing? So on OK is Phoenix push. Sorry. Phoenix push.
Interesting. Okay.
So now if we go back, I don't think I should have to refresh, but I keep refreshing, and we get back into our state. So we are in a started state now. Awesome. Cool. Sweet. All right, so the next thing is to start getting some messages from Phoenix. Let's, yeah. I've been ignoring these whole like JSON encoded things so far, and that's been nice. We're about to, I think, have to do that. But yeah. So, space project, find channels, Pomodoro channel test. Start timer replies with status OK. And so what we want to say is after that, we start receiving heartbeats every so often. I'm going to look at the old tests to see if there is anything going on. There really isn't. So this is a little bit harder of a test to write because I don't necessarily want to sit and wait for it to happen. In my test. So there's an assert reply. Let me go back one more time. Is there like an assert receive or something? It's an assert broadcast. Assert push. Broadcasts are pushed to the client. Broadcast from socket. Broadcast. Shot broadcast to. Yeah, I think assert broadcast is maybe what I want.
Because we want to shout it to everybody who's connected.
Yeah, and there is some kind of thing here. What am I trying to say? There is some kind of timeout that it waits for broadcast, and I'm assuming that it is. I don't know what I'm assuming or saying. So do we want to call this like update time, or I don't really want it to be heartbeat necessarily.
No.
Because the payload is definitely going to have a time in it, I think, just in case someone joins late or something like that. They need to know where we're at.
They also need to know the state, right? Like, so they need to like set the state.
That's true. That can be.
needs to happen on init as well.
Yeah, that can totally be something that the response to join can give you the state.
Yep.
Yeah. So what we'll say update clock.
Sure. Yeah.
Or timer. We've always said timer.
Yep.
So we're gonna update timer with maybe we call these ticks, and I guess one should be broadcast at some point. Space TA. Mailbox is empty after 100 milliseconds. So maybe our first tick is 0 that happens kind of close to instantly. That way we don't have to wait around. So comma TA. Right. So it waited 100 milliseconds, didn't get anything. All right. So that's probably a good enough test to get us started. Space. Oh, it's space, not comma. It kind of throws me off a little bit that that's comma.
Comma is just, it's like space, but it's for the particular mode that you're in. So right now we're in Elixir, but if you use comma over in Elm, you're going to get Elm stuff. It's very like hyper specific to the buffer.
Interesting. Okay, so space project find. What is it that we're looking for? Channels, Pomodoro channel. Cool. So as soon as we get, and I'm gonna, well, that broadcast line is going to be helpful here in a second. So as soon as we get something, the start timer, we want to broadcast. So we'll do this first the cheap way. And yeah, so I'm wondering if me doing this before the reply is going to be an issue. We'll see. So broadcast update timer.
Update. Yep.
And payload is going to be
ticks integer.
I really have forgotten where my equals key is. There we go. And so 0. And yes. Comma TA. Line 15, I'm assuming is this, and I'm assuming I'm missing curly bracket on this line. No, doesn't look like it. I didn't do anything to that. Oh, yeah, I have an equal sign instead of a 0. Comma TA. Cool. So obviously we're gonna want some kind of gen server that goes ahead and makes this happen for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the best way to test drive this, and so I am just not going to for the moment. Def module or Doro dot what timer maybe is an all right thing for this. Use gen server. And so we're going to have a def start link, which is going to take a name of these things. And then we're going to say gen server start link. And I'm trying to remember what goes on here. So name, actually, I don't think that that's going to be important here. So I think start link takes 2 or 3. The first thing are the options.
/3 on it. So.
Oh yeah. So the name of the module is the first thing.
Yeah.
So the second thing is our initial options that get passed to. Those get passed to. What am I trying to say? Those get passed to our init function. Like if we wanted to be able to kind of pass something through for us, probably nil is as good as anything for right now. And then the name of our process is the third thing, I think.
And name is the thing that we send in, and is that going to be like something or whatever?
This is something, right? This is the name of our gen server process that we're starting.
I thought that's what module was.
Module is to what module should I send my handle call, handle cast kind of things.
Okay.
So
that's self, basically.
Yep. Yeah. Actual self here is the process ID in Elixir. So self coming from Ruby or yeah. Right. Okay, so but the names of our processes have to be atoms basically, or some process registry deal that is really the right way to do this.
Atoms are symbols in Ruby?
Yes. So what this is going to do is create a new atom for each of our kind of UIDs. So it's going to be something for this first thing. That is going to be a problem long term because
they don't take garbage collected.
Exactly. So we're going to want to switch this out to gproc or something like that before we let the world use this. But this should work fine for us for right now. So def init. I don't think we have any work to do here. So
you do nil, right?
I could totally match on it. Just so that we're explicit.
So question, the pattern matching is underscore significant in that if there's an underscore leading the variable name, it's a wildcard match, or like how does that work?
No, if it's anything, it's a wildcard match. Like if it is a variable of any sort, it is going to match on this. So okay. Like if I do this.
Anything in an array. Or a vector,
it's an array, and it's any the array has to include only one thing.
Sure.
And we're going to map that to thing. Yeah, so I could totally call this nil. The fact that this is nil is not really important. So all the underscore does is it tells the compiler I don't plan on using this ever, and so it won't complain at you saying, hey, you've got unused variables.
Okay.
Okay, so the contract for this is that init should return OK and whatever the initial state is. And so for us, the initial state is going to probably be something like, we call it state in Elm. I like probably status. Better, status. And we'll say that our status is what? Initial, is that what we called it.
Yeah, that's what the Elm mapping is.
Cool. Status is going to be initial, and we have ticks. Should ticks be a thing that exists? Here.
I mean, you could initialize it to 0 so that you could send whenever somebody. I don't know. Yeah, sure.
So ticks 0, and that's kind of all we know about. So we want to handle. I'm gonna start by assuming everything is going to be a cast.
And the difference between cast and call, cast is like UDP and call is like TCP? Or do I have them reversed?
Call is going to return a reply. Cast is not.
Okay, yeah.
I am not good with TCP and UDP. And knowing what.
UDP is like cast. It's like fire and forget. TCP has like reply semantics. Acknowledgement semantics, I guess.
So let's do a start timer, and we will take a state here, do end. All right, so this is totally going to be what? So we're going to want to update our state. So we can say state is status now.
Oh, that's like
started. It is basically Elm at that point. Cool. And so let's so my thought is that we should here do our start link. Pomodoro dot timer start link with some thing. And actually, let's go ahead and do the work here. Yeah. So I think I can say nope. Here we go. You would.
Is that concatenation?
It's destructuring.
Okay.
So yeah, it's saying
it's like partial destructuring of a string.
Yeah, and we'll see if this works. I think that it does, though. All right, so we should have our UID there. Hold on 1 second. I just had a child enter the room.
Data.
Yep.
I don't know how those people do the live streams by themselves. Like right now, I need to have somebody there.
Yo, so I need to remember to always disable my notifications and lock my door. Okay, so we've started our link to this thing.
And we get a PID, right, out of this?
We do get a PID. I think what we're going to want to do. I guess my question is, I think the socket might know about the channel that it's on. So I'm gonna io.inspect socket leader TA. That is shout though. I need start timer leader TA. So socket channel, is there anything in here? There we go, topic, yeah. So we totally have access to something there. So I'm gonna leave it kind of like this. And actually, so this entire thing is the topic. Like we could register the entire UID as that.
That might be easier just so we don't have to worry about all this silly destructuring, concatenating stuff.
Yeah, the only thing that I worry about with that is like, I don't know if there's any kind of reserved things about atoms. I assume because it's a string atom weirdness. I don't know. We'll start there.
Specifically the colon.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. But we can, yeah, let's try. So this was something. And so we're just gonna call this topic. And let's pass the topic in. All right, so that is going to get us there. So now what we would like to be able to do is to come in and make a call to our start timer there. So normally you have a kind of public API and like internal API. So we might have a start timer that takes in a topic. And that's maybe bleeding stuff over.
Doesn't it not already have its own topic in its own internal state? Like,
so there can be thousands of these Pomodoro timers running at a particular time. So we need to know which one, the name of the one that you are interested in, what its internal state is.
So maybe I have something wrong. So this timer thing, so what I'm assuming is like, so on right after authorize where we say start link, Pomodoro timer start link, what do we get a PID out of that and hold on to that and then send it to that specific PID?
You totally can do that. So because we have named our gen server process, we don't have to hold on to that PID anymore.
Right.
We totally could, and that is definitely a way we can do it. We can assign our PID to the socket, since that is getting passed around. I assume that there's like a socket assign or something somewhere that's happening, and just like follow that PID around. The problem with doing that is like potentially if that PID dies and something else brings it back up under the same name, you're now sending to a process that doesn't exist anymore.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a little bit better to name it and be able to reference that name.
Okay.
At least so far in my head, that's.
And so Pomodoro timer, when you call start timer, you're calling that not on a particular, for lack of a better word, instance. It's more like a class level sort of thing. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, not class. I mean, these are bad words, but just to map my terminology.
It's not too bad of a way of thinking about it. So we're going to cast to a particular name. So we've got to.
I see. So we're wrapping all of the gen server stuff, right? So we're only dealing with this module thing. Yep. Got it. Yep, that's why you need the name. Yep.
So we're gonna send it a start timer. And that should be all we need. Yeah, so it'll get its internal state, and then it will go to there.
So start timer is like class level, whereas init and handle cast are quote unquote instance level, right? Like those are process specific.
So handle cast definitely is a init is it's kind of right in the middle of those two things. Like is your initialize, it's like a new method and initialize, and
yeah, it's the constructor, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of sits between that. All right, so we have this thing started, and almost. So we would like to one, we need to get our information out of our socket, so we can totally pattern match this with topic equal to socket, and then we can say Pomodoro.
Hit down arrow and tab, and then .t.
Pomodoro. Okay, so we have some egregious spelling things going on. Who would have thought? Sometimes. All right, so this is going to be start timer, and it's going to take in the topic. Cool. So it would be nice if this broadcast. Actually, no, that's totally fine. Well, no, this broadcast should totally happen inside of the other thing. Right. Okay, so let's make sure we're don't have compile errors or something bad. Return value. Oh, yeah. So my handle cast needs to return okay and the new state. Oh, sorry, it's not okay. It's no reply. Cool. So yeah, it would be. Would it be nice to get for this to be a return value instead?
Mm-hmm.
And we just return that.
So is that handle call instead of handle cast?
Yep. So, oops. Nope. Nope. Agent server call, handle call. So this is going to be reply. Move this around. State is equal to this. And then it's state. So the first one is what you reply, and the second one is what the payload. Continual state is. So payload is second one. It is this.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. So that actually we initialized with a tick.
You could send that too.
We could send that too. That messes up a little bit of my testing strategy to do that. But that's
how
fine.
so? Because call is a synchronous thing. You have to wait for it to respond or something, or
no, like in my test, I said, hey, like my reply should just include started, right? And I should later broadcast my tick at 0. And
well,
so
I still
this
think
is
we could do that, right? Because we'll get the return value out of there. We can split them. You know, pull out the ticks, pull out the status.
we totally can.
Or you could just reply.
Yeah, my thought was we should just let the reply of start timer be our reply. And we're gonna have to figure out update timer here shortly. Don't know what this mode is. Not really liking it.
You see how it's blue down there? That's the Emacs mode, and I get in this sometimes, and it is, sorry, dumb. So let me see if I can get out of this. Space, fucking hell. I feel like it's slash, but this happens rarely. Space max, holy. Only 2 ways to get back. Control G, is that a thing? Fucking hell. How'd you do this, Sonny?
No clue.
I'm opening a lot of tabs. Okay, so meta M, what's that? F, E, nope. All right. Okay. Holy Jesus. So I don't even know how I kind of got out of it. So, so space, whenever you're in Emacs mode, obviously doesn't pop up the little bar. Instead, you have to press Meta X. And what Meta X is, it's actually Option or Alt M. That'll actually bring up your normal spacebar behavior, like typical.
Mm-hmm.
And then I press space again and just search for evil mode. And whenever I ran that, it actually disabled all of the evil stuff in here, which is the Vim, everything kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And then I re-enabled it again. And whenever it came back on, it was back to the default. So I need to learn how to get out of that the proper way, because that was not it. But it works for now.
Bad call start timer. But yeah, so this takes a from, which never really use. It tells you about the process that was requesting it, I think. So cool. We are back to green. Apparently, it just pattern matched that. So that is good. So we would like this broadcast to happen outside of it. And actually, maybe this is a good use for from. Actually, so yeah, there's actually a couple of things. Like, we want to be able to have this gen server over here be able to broadcast to our socket kind of directly. So
does it need to get the socket passed in?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let's io.inspect socket. Yeah, as long as we have the socket, we're totally good. I guess the only
we don't have to pull in channel, right? Like use web, use channel to get broadcast.
We don't have to pull in the entire channel in order to get broadcast.
You just pull in a specific thing.
Yeah, and like channel is yeah, pulling in a bunch of different things, I think, in order to get it. So yeah, let me think about this for a second. So I would like update timer to go there. So we will start link with a socket. And as it turned out, our socket had our topic anyway. So we can say topic name equals socket. Right, so we'll keep our name there and let's pass our socket through here.
That goes to init, right?
Yep. And so socket. So yeah, now it becomes really weird for us to reply with our entire socket back into it. So let's, since all we care about here, let's just say status.
Question. So right now we're handling, handle in, start timer, handle in, like a couple of different things from the channel. It seems like all these things are just going to be wrappers around hitting this gen server. Would it be would it make sense to have just one entry point that just sends the message and then gen server itself does the matching on the message and handles the different things? So basically one handle in, like handle message.
Yep.
And it passes it to gen server and gen server pattern matches and figures it out.
Yep, totally. I think that that hopefully can make sense.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get there on our second one. All right, so now we are hoping to be able to basically make this call here. Socket equals state. So we have our socket update. So we just need to find our broadcast method. So Phoenix broadcast. So this hex doc thing. Here we go. Broadcast. So no, this is straight right here. So there is, that's kind of what I was thinking. There is a broadcast that will support just a topic instead of having to have the entire socket. I don't think it's bad for us to use this, but that's what I had done in previous times doing stuff like this. So we can totally say import Phoenix channel only broadcast. Oops, it should be, it's nice helpers though. Broadcast 3. So yeah, that should be there. We should be able to get rid of that. Leader TA. Push reply and broadcast can only be called after the socket has finished joining. That is interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was kind of afraid of this. So this is just what our socket is at that moment in time.
Right, it's a mutable object, in other words. It's not an instant. Or, I mean, yeah.
It's not that it's mutable, it's just, it's not what it's going to be when it gets passed into start timer here. So yeah, let's find the broadcast that lets us just refer to the topic. So Elixir Phoenix broadcast topic. Pushing mode. Yep, not there.
Phoenix.socket.broadcast.
Looks like endpoint. Phoenix endpoint broadcast. Topic event message. Yeah.
I have one that's topic event payload. You said endpoint.
So, right. So I think you're looking at the struct that is the broadcast object. Are you able to look at what I'm screen sharing right now?
It hasn't caught up. Oh yeah.
Okay. So this is what you were seeing.
Yeah.
That doesn't actually have a method for doing the broadcast. That's just like the structure of what a broadcast looks like. Yeah.
It's its type.
So Phoenix endpoint is the thing that actually has it. So yeah, we can import that from Phoenix endpoint. I believe that we have kind of our own instance, for lack of a better word, web. Do that. I'm really not liking having to fuzzy find everything. It would be nice if I could type in paths.
Okay, so type, just for curiosity, do space P. Let me look through here, compile. Let's find file. I know that there's a way to do that. Maybe space F.
So it definitely needs to know about the project, because I want it to start at the root of my project and let me type in my path and tab complete and all that kind of stuff. Basically what E would give me normally. We're starting to run late, so I need to get this going, but maybe next time we can figure it out. So I think that it's a web that extends endpoint or something. Endpoint. I really thought that there was. Oh my gosh. Space project find web controller model router. All right, whatever. So stop it. All right. So I will update this. So Phoenix endpoint. And it is broadcast 3 topic event message. Yep. And so this becomes topic, which we didn't have before. So yeah, let's continue taking in our name, but we will pass name down into our state. There's topic name.
Gotta change init socket to init name.
Okay. Okay, so we have a topic. Yes, that's fine. Okay. Podcast 3 because it doesn't exist. Phoenix endpoint. ER broadcast. Channels. Phoenix pub sub subscribe for 3. Is it Phoenix pub sub? So this is talking about its existence. Just saying, broadcast, Phoenix channel test. Yeah, so is there just a broadcast 3 in channel that does not take a socket? I don't know, let's see. routed a TA. No function clause matching Phoenix channel assert join something.
Interesting. Try Phoenix pub sub. Or was that a? Well, it says C Phoenix pub sub dot subscribe 3.
Right.
I'll see pub sub in the docs.
I got into the mode again, Aaron.
Alt M space evil M space evil.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like it's not even a Phoenix thing. Elixir podcast 3. A message from a Phoenix controller to a channel. myapp.endpoint.broadcast. I just lose connection. I'm unable to type. Are you able to type?
Just updated.
Okay. So Pomodoro endpoint broadcast, right? Twitter TA. There we go.
Great.
It was somewhere. Awesome. Yeah, so this is probably a good place to stop. So we are there's something called send after that that we can use.
It's like a set timeout kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. There's also one that is like a multiple kind of thing, which I think is less. It's a good way of saying it. It's not as
used.
People don't like it as much. Yeah.
Well, it seems like maybe the send after might work better because we want to be more in control of the scheduling the next event because somebody could hit pause, at any point. So that way, instead of having to cancel the other one and then do it again, you kind of like, I don't know, maybe the other one, I guess we'll find out. But there may be pros and cons to each.
Yep.
Obviously.
Cool. So we will totally dig into that next time. But yeah, we should get to do a lot of Phoenix or a lot of Elixir anyway in the next one, which should be good. Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool.
Sweet. All right, man. We'll have a good day. Thanks for watching. Anyone that watches this.
Yep.
Later.